expectations.
It's a new twist on J-Lo.
What is it?
He's low.
Oh.
The ranking.
He dropped 34.
Meanwhile, Indiana's Curt Cignetti joins us to talk Hoosiers football as they get ready for their season. Some viral stuff from Curt taking shots at SEC, Hub said. Yeah, watch out, we'll discuss. But right now it's time for a no-huddle basketball edition. Bleacher Report's top 100 players ever. The top. Oddly, we're not discussing it. Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Bill Russell, followed by Shaq, a little bit high. Duncan, Bird, Wilt, Steph, Kobe, Hakeem Olajuwon. We're focusing on 10 and 11 there, Brew. Do you agree with Steph being ranked higher than Kobe? Am I saying higher or lower?
It's higher.
Higher.
Say higher. Yeah, I know it's counterintuitive, but it sounds.
I'm not there. I'm not. Look, with all due respect to Steph, I'm not ready to put him ahead of Kobe. One of the big reasons is the defense. You know, Kobe obviously was a very good defender and made all defensive teams several times. Steph, that's a weakness of his game. And look, a lot of players that played against Kobe have him in the GOAT conversation. Mm-hmm. Neither myself nor Nick does, but they have him in the GOAT conversation because he was such a killer. And Steph is too, in a different way. But I will tell you, with my little basketball experience, because I'm not trying to compare it to these guys, but when you are facing a player that is just going for your throat on both sides of the ball for 48 minutes or however long the game is, it's bothersome. And so I think that's what a lot of players would admit. LeBron has a lot of things over Kobe, but Kobe, the way he would attack you when you're playing against that is just not fun. And so I don't have him ahead of LeBron, obviously, but I'm just saying that I would throw that in as well for I'm not ready to put Steph ahead of.
Yeah, so can we throw up the top 12 again? Because we're going to spend most of the segment talking about where we disagree with the list. One thing I do want to give them credit for is, in my opinion, this is the exact right 12. It's not the right order. But I think this is, and I think Steph has made this a firm, 12. He's the latest entry into this group. Joker could shake the snow globe up, in relatively short order. I know Brew believes Wemby could shake it up considerably much further down the road. But this is the best 12 players in the history of the league, at least in my estimation. I agree with them there. I feel like this list did an odd, and I've never seen it happen actually, for Kobe, an overcorrection in the other direction. So there's
a lot of that taking place now.
Yes, and so it felt like totally understandably after he passed, there was, as there is for most people when they pass, particularly if they pass suddenly and tragically, and a positive correction. You know what I mean? Like err on the side of better than not. You know what I mean? And that stuck for a while where it did seem like there were a lot of people arguing, well, obviously, Kobe's better than Magic. Kobe's better than Kareem. And those are takes I personally disagree with. But this felt to me like it was the canary in the coal mine on this specific list that maybe was a little too analytically driven was David Robinson being in the top 20, because David Robinson always was this analytical darling. And Kobe's analytics do him a bit of a disservice in my opinion.
Because he wasn't very efficient.
He wasn't very efficient, and he did have a couple really tough finals. And he had a 3-year stretch in his career where they missed the playoffs one year and got bounced in the first round the other 2 years during his prime. But Steph's the only all-time great like that while he's playing in this era. We don't do the fine-tooth comb negative stuff. And maybe we should treat more guys like that. But Steph post Durant leaving, you know what I mean? 5 of the 6 years they've either missed the playoffs or not gotten out of round 2. And some of that stuff seems to have stuck to Kobe retroactively, like, blew a 3-1 lead in round 1, missed the playoffs the 1 year. They've missed the playoffs 3 times in the last 6 years.
I think that's because of Steph's size.
Yeah, well,
smaller players. are generally
I
held to
agree,
a
but
less
also
of a higher
it's
standard.
one of the reasons they're not judged is because we don't typically think they're quite as good as.
Right.
And again, I think
That's
Steph
the
is
reason you would
one of
have
the 12 greatest players ever.
KD.
But I personally think Kobe had a better career than Shaq, even though Shaq is probably my #1 draft pick all time, every player alive for get them at the peak of their powers, apex version of themselves for one game. Shaq might be the #1 pick, but Shaq just wasn't that version long enough. So I think this is a little unfair to Kobe.
Let me say this, because this was interesting to me, because Steph, most people would say he hasn't been at his best in many of his finals appearances.
Yeah.
And Kobe, you could say the same thing. They are similar in that neither of them was consistently dominant in the finals.
Yeah.
And when they went through lulls as far as their team not being very good. Steph more so than Kobe, but still they both did. But this was interesting. Steph's numbers in the finals are better than Kobe's. Oh. Steph averaged 27 points, 6 assists, 5.8 rebounds in 34 finals games, shot 43%. Kobe, 25 points, 5 assists, 5.7 rebounds. So Steph slightly edged him in that. 37 games, 41% shooting. So it's really interesting, but just the overall game as far as defense, I'm going to, and his size. 6'6" versus 6'2".
Meanwhile, looking at 13 through 24, Durant at 13, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Kevin Garnett, Jokic, Dirk, David Robinson, Dr. J, two Malones, Moses Malone, Karl Malone, D. Wade, and then Giannis. Do you like this spot for KD? I know you didn't like Jokic here, did you, bro?
No, I don't like this spot for KD. Jokic should definitely be ahead of KD. I just think Jokic is a better player. I mean, he's averages triple doubles. You know, obviously has more MVPs. Led a team to a championship. But I got more than Jokic. Jokic, Dr. J. Dr. J, and I've been saying this. Dr. J has 3 championships.
That's correct.
He has the one in the NBA with Moses Malone. He had 2 in the ABA, and people say, he had 2 in the ABA in a 3-year span when the ABA would play the NBA in exhibition games, in almost 100 of them. And the ABA won 65% of those games. So if half of the best players in the world at that time, George Gervin, Rick Barrett, many others, were in the ABA. So if we give Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, the Knicks, all these teams that won championships in that stretch when the ABA existed, when half of the best players in the world weren't in the NBA, we have to give the ABA guys credit. So Doc has 3 championships. He played in 4 NBA finals, won 1. I'm putting him ahead of Durant. And then, look, Isaiah Thomas, they had him at 27.
Yeah, that's
second best small player ever next to Steph. He beat Bird, Magic, and Jordan, and they both had, all 3 of those guys had far more, like they had more top 75 players than Isaiah. He only had Dennis Rodman. And, I mean, as great as Dumars and those guys were. So, yeah, I think Dr. J, Jokic, and Isaiah should be ahead of Durant.
Well, yeah, I think that I'm just going to stay on the contemporary ones, or else I think Wilds might leave. I think having Durant ahead of Jokic is kind of crazy right now. I think Durant, if they both, and that's not projection, if they both quit today, I think Jokic has accomplished more.
Yes.
And again, that is not some massive knock on Durant. It's just, I do think Durant versus, this is my kind of bigger gripe. I think Durant versus Giannis is a real argument. And they have Giannis at 24 and Durant at 13. I think that you could make you know what I mean?
It's a question. That's what I had as a question.
Correct. Like that, to me, that's a real debate. And so this part of the list, listen, Dr. J, Moses, and Isaiah, to me, are 13, 14, 15, depending on what you do with
I think Moses is an argument,
with
too.
Jerry and Oscar. But the only person of those 3 contemporary guys that is in that mix is Joker, and then there's a Durant-Giannis question to me. So I think this oversells.
I'll add this. For those that, and maybe Durant feels that people knock him for the championships in Golden State, Him being 13 on this list is directly related to those championships.
yeah.
There's no way he's there without those. So people are giving it respect.
All right, now we're going to jump to the 50s to see where Luka is. Ray Allen, Dwight Howard, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, Bill Walton, Dolph Schayes, then Luka, Willis Reed, T-Mac, and then Carmelo. How high do you think Luka? How high can Luka climb on this list?
I know what Nick hates on that list.
Oh, I mean, Reggie ahead of Luka is an outrage, but I'm not going to focus on Reggie. And
Reggie seems high.
Yeah, Reggie ahead of Carmelo, Willis Reed, again, but this isn't a Bill Walton, most of the guys behind him in the 60s and 70s, neither here nor there. I think it is absolutely in play that Luka gets to the Durant tier. The Durant, Dr. J, Moses Malone, that area. Yeah. I think that is... I think it is still in play. He goes down as one of the 5 greatest offensive players ever, and then you have to downgrade him however. I'm not saying it's a favorite. I'm saying it's not off the board. And again, like, he, right now, this moment, has more first-team All-NBAs than Steph, who's 10th on this list. Or where was Steph on this list? Yeah, 10th on the list. Like,
yeah,
and I understand that's not everything, obviously, but it's just anecdotal. And it's not like he's way behind his expected pace when it comes to winning. Being 26 and having made a finals, having made another conference finals, like, oh.
That's where LeBron was.
Right, exactly. It's like that's the trajectory you're supposed to be on. And so I still think top 15 all time is on the board for him.
When he entered the league, you know, and early in his career, once he got going, I thought he could get in the top 10 conversation. Now that includes 14 players, whatever. Mm-hmm. In that conversation, not because I don't know who you're going to take out, but now I don't really feel that way anymore. I think though he can get in the top 20-ish, and I agree like that Durant, he could end up being as good or better than Durant. So I think in that top, like he could crack the top 20, somewhere between.
Do you think that's
12 and 20?
I mean, that's where Dirk was. Don't you think Luka could end up having a better career
I think
than
he's
Dirk?
Better than Dirk.
I know you already think he's better than Dirk, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying
skeptic,
you know what? Just listening to the conversation made me think that this year was more urgent than maybe I thought 10 minutes ago.
This last year or this coming year?
This coming year.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, like, where's SGA on this? Like, if I'm SGA, like, I'm MVP scoring champion, finals MVP. Like, can I get on the list? Like, no, SGA, you can't be on the list. But Luka is. Yeah, he was scoring champion last year.
Look, I think it's the multiple. I think it's when you have like 4 top 4 MVP finishes, 5 first-team All-NBAs. You know what I mean?
I mean, not to be like. Tatum's got. I don't know if we're going to get to Tatum.
We're doing Tatum right now. Tatum got disrespected.
Right now, like SGA and Tatum, while I think Luka's a better player than Tatum, they're ahead of him in terms of accomplishments.
Yeah. So
like now, they're in this kind of era of those young guys. They're ahead of him, so he's got work to do.
Here's Tatum. Tatum is coming in at 93. He's got 2 finals appearances, 1 championship, 4 All-NBA first-team appearances.
Bill Sharman's in the suit.
Shout out to Chauncey.
I mean,
Chauncey's 91. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bill we couldn't get a picture of Bill
Put him
Sharman
in a jersey.
In
Out here looking like an executive.
I'm sorry.
Well, he was an executive.